And the last question was, she didn't send a question. She got the kids, the 4 kids, to send
questions. Yeah,
to send their own questions.
Now, we started that before the COVID-19 broke out. They just wanted to build up some information so they knew things about me and what I'd done and everything. So it's good idea.
So the question they sent different questions. You should tell them. I think they're quite cute.
Well, one of my grandsons wondered if I had any action figures and superheroes and things. They just wanted to. So they were they weren't around when I was a kid. Knew things about me and what I'd done and everything.
So the question I thought was the best question was his eldest grandson, Ben, who's 15, going to be 16 in a week or so. His question was, can you tell me some jokes that you used to like when you were a kid?
Something like that, yeah.
So Julian sent a whole bunch of jokes that he should share with everybody because they're quite funny. So. Well,
depends whether you like Henny Youngman jokes and Rodney Dangerfield. They're all available online, and my grandson Ben likes those.
The more tame, the less sort of what's the word?
They're very unsophisticated.
They're more politically correct than they would typically be. He chose the ones that were politically correct and tame. So no references to the wife or the mother-in-law.
That's
right. There was a lot of boy are my arms tired.
Yeah.
Carly, I just have a sort of logistics question for you. I tried to type it, but I don't think it was clear enough. There's an ability on Zoom conferences to, I don't know, this highlight, spotlight. I don't think I have that option from not being the host, but I was wondering if when I'm doing Pebbles and the chalice lighting, you could spotlight the, this one over here with the stuff in it.
I'm jump in, Cameron, so I'm actually not on tech. Cameron's doing tech today.
Mm-hmm.
See if I can find that feature.
I haven't found, spotlight video.
Oh yeah, okay, I see it. Yeah, I can do that.
I understand how to do it.
Do I also have that ability? Because I can do that easily if I just don't know where it is.
Why are you
The picture.
Yeah, I'll just look at the notes. Don't worry.
I think Carly could make you a co-host.
I can make you a co-host if you'd like.
Yes, that would be great. Thanks.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you do it now, Kaylee?
Ron? Fraser.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So people have the option of going back to gallery view up in the top right-hand corner. There's like a little grid. And you can all do that individually if you want. But for the chalice lighting and the pebbles of joy and concern, I am going to spotlight those.
Okay. Looks beautiful.
It does.
Does that mean we won't see the person doing the pebble?
You should still see the person doing the pebble. So I'm going to spotlight it again, and then you can see how unless, because can't see the spotlight video. Spotlight video. So you should still see at the top of your screen. There are people, so like I'm talking, so I should be at the top of your screen in a little one.
Yes, I see you and I see us.
You could do speaker view. Change it and see what happens with speaker view. Yeah, click on gallery view, and that'll bring up.
Brings up everybody.
Yeah, now you're on speaker view.
Yeah, so I'm just going to do it when I drop the 2 pebbles and when I'm lighting the chalice. And then you guys can go back to looking at everybody.
Yeah.
But we got a chat from Lorna. Does the service start at 10:30?
Yes, it does, Lorna.
Yeah.
We've said 10 for check-in and technical support.
Well, that's good.
Great, thanks.
Okay, great. Let's go. Yeah, let's go outside now. Off. Turn it off. Thank you.
Father and son conversations going on.
I know.
Very nice. No, they're great.
Good.
It adds depth.
Yeah, we'll see, because it's supposed to be. Yeah, we'll see. I'll be muted for most of it anyway, so we might be having our own conversations on the side over here.
That's okay. That's okay.
On my Sunday to speak, Darren won't be leaving the house in the rain necessarily.
Yeah.
Or he might be.
Do you want to get in? Yeah, buckle up.
Back into audio.
Yeah, one.
There's people.
Hi, Cynthia.
Hi, Cynthia.
Hi, everyone.
Get in the stroke and then we'll buckle up. Okay.
Well, mute myself before I do something I shouldn't.
No. Oh, Judy. I don't know who Judy is.
Hey, everybody.
Hi. Hi, Joanne. Hi, Stephen.
Hello.
There's Stephen. Yes. Hi, Stephen.
Hey, Stephen.
Nice to see Sharon from Don Heights days.
Hello, Cynthia.
Hi, Stephen.
Hello.
Oh, and Lorna Wigginson, too.
Pardon?
Lorna Wiggin. Lorna's from Don Heights, too.
Message to you on Zoom, but I don't know how to send it up to you.
That's okay.
Oh, right, I forgot to do that. See it?
Hi, Cynthia.
Okay, thanks.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Cynthia.
Nice to see you. My goodness. Fun seeing people from our past.
Yes. This is actually great. It's
Where they got to
wonderful because you get to see all kinds of people.
So they could look at.
Yeah.
Well, instead of waiting for pebbles of joy, I could give my joy now, and then I could make it longer.
It works.
My birthday was yesterday, and
Happy birthday.
Birthday.
thank you. I talked about as the people that are on the screen now at my birthday party, courtesy of the CUC. So I'm very grateful to them, and I will be sending them a thank you note. They gave me a login number thing, and my 4 siblings plus spouses and some children, and my 4 children and all their children logged on. So I got to see everybody more than I would have otherwise.
Very nice.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we made cakes. So I ate my cake. I forgot not to blow it out, but my brother had come up with a way. He clapped his candles out. His birthday was earlier on in the week. And my other brother said what they've been doing in their neighborhood. They put saran wrap over the cake, then put the candles in so you can blow out your candles. And then you take the candles out and you take the saran wrap off, and there's no germs on your cake.
Wow.
Good idea.
Good idea.
Who knew? And then after our cake and candles, this would have been the afternoon, and then I made duck à l'orange for supper, so I had a gourmet feast for dinner. And then we watched the movie that's kind of like a spy thriller, looking for... Sorry? Yeah, the Da Vinci Code we watched.
Oh, love that show. Yeah.
No.
I had an absolutely amazing, fabulous birthday.
There's Brigida. Hi, Brigida.
Hi.
Hi, Brigida.
Yeah.
So a lot of people already there. That's nice.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, and Eric's on.
Eric.
Hi, Kaylee.
There she is.
In your Facebook messages, it's very nice to see those.
Oh, I haven't looked at her on Facebook.
Don't have me as a friend on Facebook.
Yes, that's right. You're a very nice one from Kayla yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because only my relatives are on Facebook. All my other friends are on LinkedIn.
That's okay. I will send you a personal one.
That's all right. I can still go on your Facebook page and see some things.
True.
Mine are all open, so you can see whatever's on mine. Oh, except the pictures of my grandson, because his mom doesn't want his picture all over the place.
Good.
Yes.
There's Marilyn.
Morning, Marilyn.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Lorna.
I'm waiting for Peter. He's coming.
Basketball.
Can you folks hear me? I don't know if I have my. Yes. Okay.
I can hear you.
I'm waiting for Peter. He's coming shortly.
Sharon, lovely to see you too. It's been a while.
Yeah, nice to see you, Carly. Glad you're there. Really nice to see you.
Good to see you too.
Don Hiders always turn up. Anything that's going on, there'll be some Don Hiders there.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi, how are you?
Very well.
So far, so good.
Morning, Stephen. Good morning.
Good morning,
Heather.
Morning, Heather.
Heather.
Hi, Heather.
No, the audio was.
Hi, Lindsay too.
Hi, Heather.
Hi. Hi.
Lindsay's there.
Hi, Brigida. Hi.
Lindsay.
Hi.
Who's the Heather that doesn't have a picture?
Heather McMichael. I'm in my pajamas and I'm wearing my glasses, so you don't get to see me.
Hey, I'm wearing my glasses.
In particular.
I'm wearing my glasses.
It's true, but glasses on other people look very good. Glasses on me are solely so I can see. They look horrible.
They make you look studious, I'll bet you.
Not
You
mine.
can't tell. I'm
Make
still
me look
wearing my pajamas
stupid.
too.
So,
Well, just a second. I'm going to go put my
Are
pajamas
you?
on.
Yeah.
I'm still in my pajamas. I just put a sweater on just so, because you're only seeing from here up. You don't know I'm still in my pajamas. Now you do know I'm still in my pajamas.
You should have a pajama service the way kids have a pajama day at school.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think that should be our first one back, is a pajama service where we all come the way we've been looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
With long hair and
Yeah.
What's this with Anna with her pearl earrings even? They look.
Oh yeah. So it was hard to find these pearl earrings in this day and age. I had to be very,
I'm with you, Anna. I've been wearing pearls since, I don't know, long time.
Good morning, Sharon.
Good morning.
Kevin Shirt.
Eric has said hello.
Did we say hello to Richard?
He's on.
I've said hello, but haven't heard him. He may have come on and then
walked away. Yeah.
Walked away. Hello, Garlands too.
The Garland family there. Two of them anyway so far.
If I can get a gallery view. There we go. There's a gallery view.
I'm here, but just audio.
Hi, Heather Hill.
Dave.
Hi, Heather.
Which Heather?
Hi, Heather Hill.
Heather Hill.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, the Heathers.
You got two Heathers.
Yes. Heather,
Three
Heather.
Heathers.
Three Heathers.
Three. But who
Three
counts?
Heathers.
Popular name.
Is that Grace there?
Hi, Grace.
Hi there.
Back from the States?
Yes.
Good morning.
Are you symptom-free, Grace?
Oh, yes, my quarantine is up today.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I'm not getting any deal. Let me see.
We see you and hear you.
Yeah, there we go. So how are you two?
Hi, Danielle. Hi, Kim.
Very well.
Hi, Carly.
Yeah.
Hi, Grace. Hi, Drummond, too.
Yes.
Where's Drummond?
Yeah, where's Drummond?
Yeah. It says Kevin Garland on the screen, but all I see is James Garland.
He's there in the back. Kevin is adjusting the screen.
Stand by for technical difficulty.
Hi, Kim.
There's Kim, yeah, and Danielle is
there.
Hi, Janu.
There's all the Garlands, yeah.
Can someone help me? I see one screen on the iPad, but I have to push it to the left to see more people. Is there any way to see them all on one screen? Or is it
top right? You can switch between speaker view and gallery view.
Okay, top right. Okay, let's see what we got here. Participants, let's see.
But you're still only going to get half of it.
Even gallery view only shows you some. You've got to use the arrow.
Okay, I got to use the arrow. Okay.
Hi, Kaylee.
Haley, she's muted.
Hi. So we're gonna start in a minute. I just wanted to let you all know that we're having some bandwidth issues because I put the second video on for the chalice. So Dad's actually next to me now, and we're gonna pop in if he needs to.
I got bumped by the chalice.
So, good morning, everyone. I am Kaylee Bryant, and I will be your service for each and every one of you, wherever you have come from, wherever you're going. This morning, you are part of this religious community, and you are most welcome. We offer special appreciation for the newcomers among us this morning. For whatever you may seek or bring, we welcome you to our church. Our presence affirms not only our liberal religious identity, but also the people who make the UCD their spiritual home. May our presence comfort, restore, and affirm you. Before our service of worship begins, are there any announcements?
In order to do that.
I suggest, Kaylee, that you let people know if they want to be heard, they should press the space bar.
Yeah, you should be muted first. If everyone's muted, we don't hear background sounds unless you're the only one in the room, of course.
I have an announcement, which is to read the newsletter, because on Tuesday we're going to try and have an hootenanny, hopefully people will come out with drums, string instruments, anything you have to improvise. You'll be able to hear me playing my uke and singing, but we won't be able to hear you. So you can just sing like you're a rock star, and I hope we get lots of fun. So it's Tuesday, 7 o'clock. The link is in the newsletter.
I'd like to extend a special welcome to the Don Heiters who have joined us. I think it's wonderful to have a humongous gathering like this, larger than we ever get in person.
Hi, Don Heiters.
Yes, hello and welcome. I would also like to announce that you will find the link to the newsletter in our Friday weekly you will find the link to the newsletter in our Friday weekly update email, and that the Canadian Bushcraft page on Facebook has a child-friendly live stream teaching Indigenous wilderness survival skills on Mondays and Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Carly will now introduce our speaker.
So I have the honor of introducing our speaker today, my good friend, Reverend Christopher Wolfe. Christopher's a fifth-generation Canadian Unitarian, which is pretty special these days. And he was ordained in the fall of 2018, and Curtis and I were delighted to be there with him that day. And Dara, too, my first day back from maternity leave. And he's been called to serve as the senior minister at Westside Unitarian Universalist Congregation in Seattle. He joins us this morning from Toronto, where he and his wife Ariel Hunt-Bronwyn and son Rowan have been practicing a deep breathing of the pregnant pause for the last year, anticipating their immigration visa and move to West Seattle, but also a new addition to their family expected in July. And some of you know him from services he's led at UUCD in the past. He came last in the fall of 2015. And Chris is also just an incredibly thoughtful, passionate, loving, and all-around wonderful person. So I'm delighted we have him here with us today.
It is time for our chalice lighting, which I have lost the video for somewhere. Yes, please. In times of darkness, we stumble towards the tiny flame. In times of cold, we seek the warming fire. In times of repression, we reach for the lamp of truth. In times of loss, we pray for the comforting light. In times of joy, we light a candle of celebration. Spirit of life, as we kindle this light, help us find what we need this day. I now invite you to join us in the unison affirmation. Due to the number of people we have, I'm going to ask that you remain muted to prevent the cacophony of voices that will inevitably ensue. I don't have a copy up for you, unfortunately. There we go. Love is the spirit of this community, and service is its gift, to dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in harmony with the earth. Thus do we covenant together. We now have a song by Christopher Wolfe.
So the song is not mine. It's a song you're actually very familiar with, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. Thankfully, somebody has rewritten some lyrics for it, and I'm going to put them up on the screen in a moment, and we'll all sing along. I just want to say I really appreciated the hand reaching in and lighting the candle there. It reminded me of Christmas Day and watching the fireplace on the TV, and every once in a while, like the family members screaming, "Oh, there's a hand! There's a hand! A new log!" It was a nice connection. I appreciated it. So I'm going to share those lyrics now, and here it comes. I invite you to join in and sing along. You'll find we've been doing our best to get the lag out, but it's not going to be perfect, and it's going to be perfect anyway. Log on, rejoice, and zoom in. Log on, rejoice, and zoom in. Today will be a joy day. Log on, rejoice, and zoom in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Keep on washing your hands. Log on, rejoice, and zoom in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. We can log from 6 feet away. Log on, rejoice, and zoom in. Don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out. Today will be a joyful day. Log on, rejoice, and zoom in. There are people making fun things happen, bringing joy into our lives, and we are grateful for them. Some opening words. I invite you to settle in, take a breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Be here now. We don't know what this day will bring. Be here now. Here you are among people who have worried. Be here now. Here you are among people who have lived. Be here now. Here you are among people who have loved. Be here now. Here you are among people who have been hurt. Be here now. You are among people who have survived. Be here now. Bring all of yourself, all of your worries, all of your fears, all of your hopes, and all of your joys. Bring all of it. For together we can hold it. Together we can hold all of it. Be here now.
At this time, you're invited to let us know of a personal joy, something of special significance, something that is meaningful to you in your relationship with life. Please drop a virtual pebble as you share your joy or concern.
I'll share my joy if it's okay. To go first, it is my son Rowan's 4th birthday today. So the floor around me is I'm surrounded by balloons that say happy birthday on them. So it's going to be a good, fun day, even if we don't really leave the house.
I also have a pebble of joy. John finished his finals. So, so there's only his placement left, and then he'll be an official OTA PTA. So that's all very exciting for us, and he did great, and I'm very proud of him.
Thank you.
I will drop a pebble now, Clunk, for Zoom, for the CUC, who allows me to use Zoom, and my birthday party yesterday.
I have a pebble of joy. I have 3 bunnies running around in my backyard. So it's actually fun to see, and it's a great acknowledgement of the earth and that everything is going to be good. It's spring.
I have a pebble of joy. Heidi, I'm glad you have bunnies in your backyard. I have 2 bunnies in the backyard. And the other day, I saw them fighting, which was really strange. Anyway, it is a sign of spring. They've come back and they're not fighting anymore, but I really look forward to walking in the beautiful sun and the warm, wonderful weather of spring.
I have a joy today too, sharing for Curtis that yesterday he passed his interview with the Ministerial Fellowship Committee and can start planning his ordination. So that's been a long journey since he started in 2011 seminary. So it's quite a relief and excitement.
I'm going to let Eric Bryant share his joys or concerns.
I have a pebble of concern that all of my usual barefoot hiking locations are closed because of COVID-19. And I have a pebble of joy because I have a friend who has a woods who's offered his location. And also a pebble of joy because the relation that appeared they had COVID-19, their test came back and they did not have COVID-19.
I'd like to put in a pebble of joy. I don't know how to put myself on the screen, so because I'm happy to be here today because I had a kind of a low day yesterday. It's very, very stressful. to be a small business owner. So I really appreciate being here this morning.
I have a pebble of joy.
Are you on? You should put on chat.
We see you.
You see us? Okay.
Yeah,
I have a pebble of joy to celebrate our first week of homeschooling. We've had a lot of structure this week, but also a lot of unstructured fun, and this week has brought us even closer together as a family. So we're grateful for this time.
Do we have any more pebbles of joy or concern before?
Just one more. I just have a pebble of joy to celebrate the return to Canada of my daughter, son-in-law, and 2 grandchildren who just got out of England in time. And I'm not going to New York City. Thank you.
I will place the last 2 pebbles of joy and concern. There are many joys and concerns that for whatever reason go unspoken. May they rest gently on your heart, and may you know that you are not alone. We now have the time for all ages with Christopher Wolf.
Chris, you're muted.
See, look at that. Thank you. Thank you, Cameron. I was just saying it's my norm is to sit on the floor with the kids, and this is quite different. So I just wanted to say, I guess, that this seems like a pretty strange time to everyone. I imagine it does for all the people in this room, whether young or old. And it's a hard time, to be sure. But most of us have had hard times before, and still we're here. I know my little guy, Rowan, is struggling with it. He's struggling just as much as the grown-ups around him are. At the moment, he and his mom and I are all staying with his grandparents in Toronto. He misses his cousin, drop-in centers, gymnastics, all the playground toys and slides. He misses Legoland and the science center and the pool. If he were in school, I imagine he'd be missing that too. He misses all the things we were doing just a few weeks ago. How many things are you missing right now? Each day we go out for a walk and do our very best to keep away from other people. This isn't always easy because one of Rowan's favorite things to do is to find little rocks or acorns or flowers and give them to people. He reminds me that he likes to find beautiful things and share them with people, which I think most of us like to do. Most of us like to share the beautiful things we find with others. One of the things I've found on my walks in the neighborhood was a piece of chalk art. That song's just going to keep playing. How do I stop that? Okay, well, we'll listen to it, I guess. So the piece of chalk art I found on the left is smile, and I found myself saying, I don't know if I want to smile right now. I don't know if I feel like I can hold a smile right now. And then right beyond it was this. It's a little harder to see and read, but it says, we can do hard things. We can do hard things. I asked Rowan what he thought it meant, and he said the hard thing was missing all of our friends and family. We've gone back to visit that piece of sidewalk a few times since to remind ourselves. We've added messages on our own front walk. Ariel sketched out Julian of Norwich's famous words that all will be well, and all will be well, and all manner of things will be well. And from our window, we wave at people who stop to read it. Rowan added stars and moons and everything seeds. Yesterday, I was dropping off supplies at my sister's house, and in front of her place were those same words. We can do hard things. I wondered if we might take this time for all ages to do a little imagining ourselves, to think about what message we would draw on our front walk, what sign we would put in our window, what we would share with people who are going by and need a heartening word. What would you write? What would you offer? I invite you to take 2 minutes and think about it. And you can write what you would offer in the chat, or feel free to speak it into the group and add as many as you like. If you're 4 people in the room, give us 4 heartening words.
Believe.
Go to the
Believe.
I don't want to say it.
This too shall pass, says Kaylee. Hope, patience, says Daniel.
A little bit of music. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling.
Indeed. Persevere, says Janu. Hang in there, say the Garlands. And laugh. Smile, breathe, and go slowly. Lorna borrows the words of Thich Nhat Hanh.
It's never over. Like, there's always more, and you never know what it's going to bring. And you never know what's going to inspire you.
Community and support.
Brigida, breathe in peace, breathe out love. There's a song to be singing to ourselves. Easy does it, says Sharon. Heidi says, we shall overcome. This too shall pass, says this one day at a time, says Daniel. We can write on sidewalks, say the Garlands. And you sure can. Practice gratitude, says Judy. There's always tomorrow. From Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. A wise soul, if ever there was one. Accept the things you cannot change, says Sharon. Thank you for that. All around our streets and all around our windows and all over our Facebook feeds and all over this world, we are hearing messages of we can do hard things, and we can do them together. We can do them if we persevere. We can do them by breathing in peace and breathing out love. This too shall pass, and we shall overcome, one day at a time. I'm going to move into a moment of meditation and reflection and prayer. I thought for a time, I found that in times of struggle, I often find myself needing songs to sing to myself. Songs that remind me of what I need and what I need to remember. There's a song by Ali Halpert called Loosen, Loosen, and I'll put the lyrics up on the screen in a moment and invite you to sing along with me. And it was a song that she wrote as a lament to be sung after the shootings at the synagogue in Pittsburgh a number of years ago, and has been sung by all kinds of folks since who have picked it up. And it's one of those pieces of making music and singing to ourselves is a wonderful spiritual practice and a meaningful path to meditation. And it speaks to a part of us that is maybe inaccessible to other parts. I remember singing this song once in the car, kind of a few times over and over, and then Rowan singing it back to me the next day when I was kind of upset. It was an interesting piece of what a 3-year-old can do and what a 3-year-old can recognize in somebody's emotional need. So I invite you to sing along with me. Oh, this may start making the music, so we'll see. I may be back in a moment. Yes, it is. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing. And sorry for this technical glitch.
Chris, I think I'll share the lyrics. I think the song was looping in the presentation, so I've managed to stop that. So I can just show the lyrics to what you...
You can just show the lyrics? Fantastic. Thank you, Cameron.
No problem. Just 1 second.
So the song goes like this. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. There's a second part. And if you're sitting with other folks, I invite you to split up and one of you sing that part and one of you sing the second. And Cameron, can you switch to the next slide? And the second part goes, holy breath and holy name. Will you ease this pain? Holy breath and holy name. Will you ease this pain? I invite you to join me in singing. Maybe we'll turn off. Can we turn off the screen sharing, Cameron? Seeing each other singing meditatively, I think, might be a gracious gift. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Holy breath and holy name. Will you ease this pain? Holy breath and holy name. Will you ease this pain? I invite you to take a breath in and out. And again in and out. I'm going to start this sermon with reading a poem by Marge Piercy. I imagine it's one you've heard before. Marge Piercy might be second to Mary Oliver amongst the Unitarian poet saints. It's called To Be of Use. It goes like this. The people I love the best jump into work head first, without dallying in the shallows, and swim off with sure strokes almost out of sight. They seem to become natives of that element, the black, sleek heads of seals bouncing like half-submerged balls. I love people who harness themselves an ox to a heavy cart, who pull like a water buffalo with massive patience, who strain in the mud and the muck to move things forward, who do what has to be done again and again. I want to be with people who submerge in the task, who go into the fields to harvest and work in a row to pass the bags along, who are not parlor generals and field deserters, but move in a common rhythm, when the food must come in or the fire be put out. The work of the world is common as mud. Botched, it smears the hands, crumbles to dust. But the thing worth doing well done has a shape that satisfies, clean and evident. Greek amphoras for wine or oil, Hopi vases that held corn are put in museums, but you know they were made to be used. The pitcher cries for water to carry, and a person for work that is real.
I have no idea what that is.
In my father's basement, just below my feet actually, there's a special saw sharpening jig that he ordered from Japan a long time ago. I still remember his bemused and befuddled face when he came upstairs to show me the box that his jig had arrived in. Written on the box, among the very few English words, it said, "Instructions, always useful when needed." It was probably just a strange translation of some sort of direction, because isn't everything useful when it's needed, and not very useful when it isn't needed? But my father embraced it as a personal motto, telling most everyone he's met since that he is always useful when needed. I'll say nobody ever really gets it. In classic dad joke fashion, it's an inside joke that always needs to be explained, and even then it isn't actually all that funny. But it's got me thinking. I've been thinking a lot during the last couple of weeks about the idea of being useful. I've been thinking about being needed, and I recognize I'm struggling with both of these things. Because I'm struggling with how enormously powerless I feel at this moment in the face of a pandemic. I'm struggling with my desire to protect my child, my pregnant wife, my high-risk parents. And staying 6 feet away from everyone else and washing my hands certainly doesn't feel like enough. I'm struggling with my worry for my grandmother, who lives in a facility with 500 other high-risk people and a staff of 150 who cycle in and out every day. I'm struggling with my anger at people who aren't taking it seriously, who don't understand, or who simply don't care. And I'm beyond angry at politicians who speak of whole communities of people as expendable. I'm struggling with my privilege, knowing that my family and I are so much safer because we're able to fairly easily take the recommended precautions. Unlike so many who now wonder where and when money for food and rent will come from next month. I'm struggling with my fears of the economic situation when this is over and all the implications of that for those among us who can least afford it, so many of my friends and congregants among them. And the news of friends being infected is starting to come in. People from Mom's Quilting Group, another editor from my university newspaper days, the wife of an old flame of mine. And I know that it will eventually strike a little closer to home, closer to one of my beloved people. And there are other struggles for medical personnel who are working nonstop in the highest risk situations, or people who found their once precarious jobs now declared essential, who fear that they put themselves and their families at risk with each shift they go to work for. Some are parents who share custody for kids that they haven't seen in weeks now and may not see for months. And some find themselves either going numb with overwhelm or constantly on edge, refreshing the news websites for new reports or new statistics over and over all day long. And in all of this struggle, I know that I'm not alone. And that is some cold comfort, but it's a comfort nonetheless. I know that everyone I talk to is struggling too, struggling with some or all of these things. The fear, the grief, the anger, wondering if we are doing enough or doing the right things, if we are safe or our families are safe. I know that I'm not alone in feeling powerless. I know that I'm not alone in wishing that I could simply fix things for the people I love and everyone else. And I'm probably not alone in feeling that tension between guilt and gratitude because our lives right now allow us to be relatively safe, while others are not safe at all. And sometimes knowing that I'm not alone is enough. Sometimes saying it out loud is all there is. We are living in the midst of crisis, in the midst of trauma. It helps to know that. It helps to recognize it. It helps to name it. Many years ago, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and David Kessler wrote about the 5 stages of grief. You may be familiar with their model. It started out being understood as being very linear. One would go from denial to anger to bargaining to depression and finally to acceptance. They never really meant it to seem so straightforward, one step after another, but still they went back and then expanded and really expanded and made it clear on how we always move back and forth through the stages, how we can be in multiple stages at the same time with different parts of our grief. I was listening to David Kessler being interviewed last week, and he talked a lot about how this pandemic is actually a new condition for us, this general broad-based grief, that we are collectively, universally in a space with which we are unfamiliar. While many smaller communities or groups have had this experience, as a whole, global community, we have not. Kessler talked about, Kessler talked about how we feel the world has changed, and we know that it will be different after this, much as going to the airport changed after 9/11. But we don't know how it's going to be different yet. So amidst the loss of normalcy and connections and the fears that fill our minds, we struggle with an anticipatory grief. He calls it that feeling we get when what the future holds is uncertain. It can emerge with a dire diagnosis or with an everyday thought of our own mortality or that of our loved ones. Kessler talked about the 5 stages of grief in this moment, about denial, which we said a lot of early on. This virus won't affect us. And anger, you're making me stay home and taking away my activities. And bargaining, okay, if I social distance for 2 weeks, everything will be better, right? And sadness, I don't know when this will end. And acceptance. This is happening. I now have to figure out how to proceed. Acceptance, as you might imagine, is where the power lies. We find control in acceptance. I can wash my hands. I can keep a safe distance. I can learn how to connect virtually. I can learn how to homeschool my children or participate in worship by Zoom. And I can learn to manage my grief. Anticipatory grief can spiral as we imagine all the worst scenarios, and we can't ignore those things. Our brains will not let us ignore those things. But if we're going to stay healthy and not fall wholly into hopelessness, we have to balance them with finding the things that we can control, or the things that shift our perspective again. Those things are an imagined future. So we have to return to the present, or we have to imagine a different future. We have to find those things in our present that challenge those scenarios, stories and examples that illustrate a different way. And if I pause now and watch and listen, I think we can see some of that possible different future. In this job, I spend a lot of time talking to people about their lives. I ask people, how's your heart? What is your life like right now? I can probably count on one hand the number of people in the last few years whose answer hasn't included the word busy. It feels often like the defining word of the last quarter century. For some, it's a badge of honor. For some, it's an inescapable trap. And this moment feels like it's maybe inviting something else, opening the door to something new. And some of it goes back to that mantra of my father's, always useful when needed. Because I think we're finding in this moment a new opportunity to think about what's really useful and what's really needed. For all of the stories of the pandemic I'm also seeing an abundance of random acts of kindness. Just yesterday, I heard a story from a congregant to the congregation I'll be serving in Seattle. She was telling me that she has a friend who had run out of toilet paper, and this friend went to the store to get some, but they were out. The store manager said, come back after 9, when I'm sure the next order will have arrived. I'll set some aside for you. So she said, okay. And she got on the bus to head home and told this story to the bus driver about how she'd have to come back in the evening. The bus driver told her that the route wouldn't actually be running that late. So the friend resigned herself to going out again the next day when the bus would be running again. She got ready, and the next morning she opened her door to find 3 big packages of toilet paper on her front step. Evidently, someone on the bus, maybe the bus driver, maybe several people, had taken note of which house she went into after she got off the bus, and they dropped off some of their own or gone to the store to get it for her. My mother's quilting group is mobilizing to sew masks in response to a request from the local hospital. People are making hundreds of sandwiches and dropping them off in staggered shifts in schoolyards for families whose kids are on meal programs to pick up. Everyday kindnesses feel like they are on the rise. Chalk drawings aren't nothing. And don't be mistaken. Physically isolating ourselves, keeping this distance is a profound act of solidarity, of lessening suffering and offering love to one another. If I ask folks what they're missing most of the moment, they invariably talk about people. They talk about their coworkers, their family members, their friends, the people at Aquafit, the helpful folks at the library book club. Or they talk about the wonderful people at church, whose faces they count on seeing each and every week. Into my elbow, it's okay. They talk about relationships with other people. 201, this is what they talk about. And I think about what we've been doing with our time since this began and what my friends and our families are doing. We've intentionally had long video calls with far-flung family. We've played Go Fish with cousins on the computer. We've read books and painted pictures and sent e-cards of love and appreciation, telling others that we're thinking of them. And I find myself wondering, isn't this actually how I want to spend my time all the time? There are pressures in the world right now telling us to pretend that this is but a momentary blip, that we should continue exactly as we were, as best we're able. I hear our government telling parents that they should have to homeschool their kids if they don't want them to fall behind. Employers telling their workers that they should be logging the same number of hours from home, despite those same kids now being home and bouncing off the walls with their own anxiety and worry. And it feels like a moment when we need to push back. We need to give space to breathe. We need space to feel our feelings, name our griefs, find our center. And we need to let go of our obsession with doing and get better at simply being. Instead of asking how we can still do all the things, I find myself wondering, how much less could we do? I find myself wondering what else we could do. And I find myself thinking about Marge Piercy's last line. The pitcher cries for water to carry, and a person for work that is real. Maybe this is a chance for us to take a breath. Maybe this is a chance to think about what's really useful. Maybe it's a chance to practice what is needed. Maybe it's a chance for us to come to know, finally, the work that is truly real. The work of compassion, of justice, of connection, and love. The work we do for one another. Blessed be. Amen.
If anyone has any comments or questions that they would like to put forth, now is the time.
Can I suggest a prompt? I'd love to hear what folks' thoughts are on the things that they imagine might be different after this, that are not the things that you're scared are going to be different, but the things you hope might be different.
Hi, so my name is Al Pear, just for all the new people, and I am really hoping that this epidemic is going to teach the people in the United States about what an unsuitable president Donald Trump is. Hopefully, everyone will realize that Donald Trump is doing an absolutely horrible job handling the epidemic. In fact, to quote him, I want to open up New York in the next week or two. And we need to realize that Donald Trump's handling of this epidemic could make everything worse. And thankfully, people in the United States are realizing this already. And many are saying that he will not get elected in 2020. So let's cross our fingers that we won't have to deal with this nincompoop for any more time.
Hi, this is Kim. On a slightly less, sorry, how's that? On a slightly less political note, but similar, I suppose. I'm hoping that the world might understand that a little bit of socialism is not a horrible thing. Like, why in a pandemic, when there's, a few weeks or a month, are we okay that, people deserve a living wage and some percentage of money so they can get along? Yet when there isn't a pandemic, we just don't care about a living wage for people. That doesn't make sense. So maybe there will be some more thoughts of the positive elements of socialism and taking care of people.
This is John.
Hi.
Oh, go ahead.
Thanks, John. This is Anna. I just hope that when we get through this, we can all slow down a bit more. We're too busy, and everything has to be done yesterday. So I hope for a little bit of calm.
Hi, this is Judy. I'm hoping that people will be amazed, as I am, at how quickly the Earth can recover when we stop destroying it. So, as you're saying, if we just slow down, it's not necessary to fly to the Bahamas. It's just everybody stay calm, and in no time things start to get better, which I find is just amazing.
This is John. I'm hoping that after all this is over, that the general population will have a much greater appreciation for teachers and so forth after all of this, everything they're going through with the online teaching, and the parents have to homeschooling and so forth, and that they finally start getting the respect they deserve and start getting paid a little bit better.
Hello? Can people hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I'm curious / hopeful about the impact this is going to have on people's use of technology. So as somebody who teaches, I've noticed a real shift over the past 4 or 5 years of people being consumed with their phones and their devices. And it feels like people often want to be anywhere but where they are. They'd rather be being entertained by their screen. And obviously the mindfulness movement that was happening before this was sort of tapping into that, but now we all have nothing to do but be on screens and entertain ourselves all day. And I wonder if it will both work something out of people's system and just make people crave for and appreciate all the things that are outside of the world of screens. Just simple things like just being present in your community and being able to connect with other people in a real way and not on a screen. And as much as we're dependent on it, and technology has really helped us stay connected through this, I'm very hopeful that it will also simultaneously loosen its grip on us and help us to be more grounded in the real world.
Sister No, can everyone hear me? I echo everyone's sentiments in terms of, I think, better appreciation and being present in the moment. And to that last point about, technology, I'm really hoping corporations can start to see the bigger impact of actually having a lot of their employees work from home more. I found that since, I don't have to do that big trudge every single day, I'm more happy because I'm able to balance my life now. I'm able to be there for my daughter. I'm able to cook. Hi, honey. I'm able to, speaking of daughter, I'm in a better place emotionally and mentally as a result of feeling like I have my time back. And I hope corporations can start to see that. And I hope employees will feel empowered now to say, we deserve this, and we need more flexibility in our lives to be present for everything else that's going on in our life.
I'm Brigitte, and I am hoping that people will be more appreciative of the arts after this. It's been, music and movies and shared performances and online painting classes are kind of what are saving a lot of people. And I hope that when this is done, that the arts will be recognized for their value in society more than they are now.
So I'm Kira, and my hope is for resilience, but I got to explain that a little bit. I was living in New York on 9/11, and the city really came together. And one of the remarkable things that came out of it for people who were, on the front lines was that we all saw we could get through it. Like the worst happened and we lived. So I'm kind of hopeful that as a world community, we can do the same thing, that we can experience that the relief and the optimism of survival.
Hi, this is Cameron. I just want to echo what Judy said about the environment. Right now, this is an unprecedented experiment, if you will, that we're all staying home and polluting the air less. So I'm hopeful that the scientists will be able to shine a light on that and get some valuable data to be able to show that there is a possibility to curb climate change.
This is James Garland. One thing that's kind of surprised me right now is we really seem to look to our government at various levels and expect them to be accountable for making good decisions and taking actions to better society and protect society. And I think that before this, we tended to shake our heads and think that government wasn't functioning very well or very helpful or doing anything that was beneficial to the average person. Maybe after this, we'll start to want to hold our government accountable for the ails of our society.
This is Julian. I'm thinking of a year or so ago when there were thoughts of raising the minimum wage, and there was a lot of objection to it, and it was reduced. In fact, some of the people who were getting the minimum wage and would have got an increase are people we now call essential workers.
This is Heidi. I just wanted to say it was interesting about the telehealth lines. A friend of mine had some symptoms, and she tried to get in on the telehealth, and it scared her because it was not functioning. So I'm hoping that all of this will help improve our health care, which we need so much, knowing that there are people that are on ventilators for longer than 20 days, and we do need those ventilators. We do need those healthcare workers. We do need to have them protected. We need to have them able to leave their children in safe environments. There's a lot of things that we have to think about for the future of healthcare. This isn't a one-time thing. We've got to remember there was the H1N1, there was the Spanish flu. We went through this, but we don't remember some of those. And I think that we should really concentrate on our health care.
I'm also hoping that more people will decide that they will try a vegan diet. It's easier to store beans and lentils in your house than go and buy hamburgers.
Hi, if I may, this is Estra. I just want to thank Christopher for naming our anxieties, various fears, and hopes for this time so well. And I wish so many people outside of community can listen to this sermon. These sermons during this time of difficulty has become even more important to me than it was, just to ground myself, sort of a healing to be in this community. And the last sermon we got from Carly was also very, very nice, very touching. So I am really grateful to have this community, particularly at this time. And as always.
I'm Eric. A lot of my thoughts have already been said by others about maybe embracing socialism more. But one thing that comes to mind is that perhaps after this is over, we'll realize the importance of having more manufacturing in Canada. And perhaps we can have some industries producing things in Canada that in situations like this would be necessities. And maybe that will bring more employment, and we'll realize that sometimes it's worth paying a little more to pay workers more rather than outsourcing things to countries where wages are lower, but also probably the people being exploited, and hopefully we'll be more aware of this situation.
Hi again. The other thing I wonder about is if this will also shift our relationship to science. Sort of relates a bit to what Cameron was saying with the environment, where it's often been said, especially in the Trump era, that it's post-truth, right? That there's no sort of scientific truth, and there's been a long sort of muzzling of scientific research and sort of framing it as biased or just political. Like at the beginning of this, often people were saying, oh, all this news about coronavirus, COVID is just political agendas, or it's just the media overhyping things. And there was a tendency to really ignore some of the hard science. And that's been, this goes back to our last federal government with muzzling of scientists within the government. And hopefully there will be, there's obviously tricky things to that about this idea of objective truth, but there are sort of some immutable laws of science and the way the earth works that hopefully people will start to pay attention to again, that everything is not completely subjective or you can be too postmodern sometimes in your way of thinking of things.
Thank you, everyone, for your wonderful comments and discussion. I think it's probably time for our closing words.
I think Carly was going to lead the offering first.
Or a bunch more stuff that I jumped to the end from. Let's do that.
Yes.
So Dara and I are here, and Julian, I don't know if you still want to say a word before our offering, or if you'd like me to just go ahead.
Did you hear me? If you go ahead, I can follow you.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen in a moment because we're going to actually do a new practice today of a two-way offering. So UUCD is still incurring some expenses as employers who are keeping Kaylee and I on in this time as our work continues. We're both really grateful for that. And I think this community is an important one, as we've all been saying, as we weather this time together, apart yet united. Also recognize that there are people in our community who are finding this a more difficult financial time and may not be in a position to give, and may in fact, in the reverse, reverse may actually need some support in this time. And so our offering is twofold, with thanks to the UUCD board, who last weekend voted to create a relief fund and have seeded it, so that if there are people in our community who are needing support at this time, if rent or groceries or mortgage payments are hard to make because your income has suddenly dropped and relief measures aren't enough or aren't available yet to you, there is the option to contact me, and it's a confidential call or email, and we will see what support we can give. And so I'm going to put the ways to give if you're in a position to give. Hold Dad. If you're in a position to give at this time, either to UUCD or to grow that COVID-19 relief fund, I invite you to give. And if you're in this time in need of receiving, I invite you to be in touch with me as soon as possible.
Yeah, thank you, Carly. I just wanted to add that we on the board thought that this was certainly a time, if there ever was one, when we as a congregation should be involved in some way. So as Carly mentioned, we set up this fund, the COVID-19 Relief Fund, and the board on behalf of the congregation put in $1,100 to start it off. So as she said, we're encouraging other people, if they'd like to add to it. The details are all here. And as Carly said, she will administer it totally. None of us on the board will know who gets money, how much they get, any of that sort of thing. So it's in total confidence. And again, we just thought that this is such an unprecedented time that if we work, this certainly had to be the time to do something. And so I personally think it was a good move. And I encourage people, if they can, to donate to it, which will make the fund even bigger. And we can help some people, and people within our own general community, people who are associated with this congregation, who may be going through some difficulties that perhaps you and I don't know about because it's their own business. But Carly's in touch with a lot of people, and I'm just adding the support that the board gave this, and hope people will consider it if they can. So thank you.
Carly, you are on mute. We couldn't hear you so far.
Okay. I invite you to sing along. We usually sing "From You I Receive, to You I Give." And I invite you, in case somebody is making an e-transfer or popping me an email in this very moment, that we take a moment to sing together. From you I receive, to you I give.
Together we share.
We live.
To you I receive, to you I give.
Together we share, and within we live.
Thank you.
Kaylee, is it time?
Sorry, what was that?
Sorry, just checking. Is it time for the closing song?
Yes.
It is. So I guess I have a question for folks. Would you rather listen to me and sing along with me, or would you rather listen to the person who wrote the song sing along to a video of them rather than watching me, do it all on my own? Yeah, let's hear. Yeah.
We like you, Chris.
I appreciate that, Cynthia. I didn't doubt it. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen, and you can see Shoshana Jedwab sing the song. The song is inspired by the story of Ruth and Naomi, and was written around issues for refugees and immigrants, and a recognition that we are all together. And I think it still speaks to this moment in a powerful way. So I'm going to share my screen to you there, and we can watch that together. There it is.
Where you go, I will go. Immigrants, where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go. Immigrants, where you go, I will go. Where you lie, I will lie. Immigrants, where you lie, I will lie. Where you lie, I will lie. Immigrants, where you lie, I will lie. Honey, your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. Muslims, where you go, I will go. Muslims, where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go. Muslims, where you go, I will go. And where you lie, I will lie. Muslims, where you lie, I will lie. Where you lie, I will lie. Muslims, where you lie, I will lie. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. Grandmother, where you go, I will go. Grandmother, where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go. divine, my divine. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine. Ancestor, where you go, I will go. 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 Where you lie, I will lie. Ancestor, where you lie, I will lie. Where you lie, I will lie. Ancestor, where you lie, I will lie. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine. And your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine. Thank you.
Where you go, I will go. Where you lie, I will lie, because your people are my people, and your divine, my divine. I can't help but watch that video and imagine being proximate enough to people to dance and make music like that again. And I know that that day will come. Her closing words come from the Reverend Wayne Arneson. And they're words I find myself saying very often these days. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard, the path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone. Blessed be. Amen. Ashe.
It is time to extinguish our chalice. We gathered to light this chalice. We depart, flame lit within. I believe we are still doing a virtual coffee hour after the service.
Yes, we are. And so anyone who would like to stay, please feel free to stay. And once people who would like to leave have left and go on with their day, I say goodbye to everyone. And wonderful to see all of your faces and hear your voices again this week. Especially welcome and thank you to people who joined us for the first time. And thank you to Chris for your words and wisdom and music. So yes, if you're ready to go, I wish you well. And if you're ready to stay and chat, you may want to grab a moment and get your coffee or your cookie and bring it back to share virtually with others. I'll break us all into rooms once we know who is staying.
They're holding a hockey stick there.
Are we not muted?
Yes, a hockey stick.
Hi there.
And his first word in the morning.
Hockey.
I have a question for Cameron if he's still around. When you want to share something, when you're in chat, can anybody share at any time, or can only the person running the meeting call who can share?
I think everyone's set up to be able to share in here. The button should appear at the bottom of your screen in the center, where you have to mouse over it in order to see it.
Yeah.
Should be a green button.
Yes. So if I press on that, I just wait, and then I could share something on my computer.
That's correct.
Thank you.
If you're sharing music too, you can click the little box, which we didn't know last week, to share computer sound, and then it won't be coming through speakers and then via. So we've sorted that out for the future, as you could see today.
That would be good. The reason I wanted to know is that my son made me an absolutely gorgeous video, and we didn't know how to share it in our chat. It wasn't working, and it said the leader had to put in a code or something. So that's why I asked.
It can vary from meeting to meeting, so it actually has to be set up as an option for the meeting to have everybody be allowed to share. Otherwise, you have to make somebody a host.
Yes, it was asking for the host code, and I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I'll just reiterate my offer that if people are trying to connect with family or friends and are trying to connect, hello, and need a Zoom meet set up, you don't need to go through the CUC. I'm happy to set one up for you, and you will be able to. I know you don't want me to stop you making that noise. We'll mute ourselves soon, and you can make lots of noise. So I'll break everyone out into rooms now, and if you want to chat with others in other rooms, you can pop me a message, and I can switch people room to room.
Okay, I'm leaving. I don't know how to do this.
Bye. Nice to see you,
everyone. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye, Regina.
All right.
Bye, Lucy.